This is the Last Minute Blues Podcast with Jeff Burton, Donnie Fandango, and former Blues defenseman Jamie Rivers. Powered by Together Credit Union, empowering you to achieve your financial goals.
It is the Last Minute Blues Podcast. Donnie Fandango, Jeff Burton, and the dude, Jamie Rivers. How you doing there, Mr. Rivers?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. How you doing today?
I have to tell you something.
Okay, go ahead.
I love, and I mean love, and I mean love when I see you out socially.
Uh-oh.
No, just when I see you out, like when we are out socially at the same time, at the same thing, I love it. It's just great, man. It is just fun, and you and Anthony were there last night, at a toast to Jeff, and it was just it's always, great to see you guys or whatever, but it's really nice, man, when we can, get out of here and do a little bit of hanging out.
No, I agree. It's a different animal altogether, and it's a lot of fun. We got such a great group of people here at Hubbard Radio, and you put us all in a small area or one venue. We have some fun, and last night was incredible. Everything that the guys from the Rizzuto show put together, as well as yourself and Hubbard Radio, and then the pageant. So many amazing people showed up to toast Jeff, and it was cool, walking through to get to the bar, grab a couple of cocktails, and people just talking about Jeff or a story they remember about me or something about the podcast. And it was pretty awesome, man. It was great to see such support from relative strangers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me ask you this, and you can get as deep on this or skim the surface as much as you want, but. One of the things that I've talked pretty openly about, even on the air and on socials, obviously, is this whole thing with Jeff is still something that I absolutely still am having trouble wrapping my brain around it. But when I see the events like last night, it certainly helps. Where is your head at? How are you making it through? Because not only did you lose Jeff, but you also lost your pops on top of that in a really short period of time, man. That's a lot of big loss in a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'm a real busy guy, and that seems to cure a lot of, the downtime of just sitting there and thinking about things. And, I'm sure some people be like, well, that's probably not healthy. Well, it's just the way I deal with it.
Yeah.
And I have breakdowns, man. I do. I mean, my girlfriend will tell you there's days or there's nights where something will just hit me, and I'm just like, "Whoa, this is that night. I'm just going to have a bit of a meltdown here." And it sucks because, especially at this time of year, like my dad, his birthday is December 25th. And so Christmas, obviously, December 25th. And, it's just hard. There's certain things that remind me on a daily basis of dumbass Jeff, where he would have said something or done something. And like last night, would have been a perfect example of, although it was a toast to Jeff for situations that, we'd like to not have to deal with, he would have been hilarious there. He would have been hilarious. It would have been so much fun. And I honestly, at one point last night, was like looking for Jeff. And it was like, dummy, he's not, he's here, but he's not here the way you want him to be.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. I enjoyed all of the performances last night. I mean, we really have some amazing talent in St. Louis. But I'm going to tell you something, and I don't know how many people know what some of the stuff that I'm about to tell you, but Justin from Blue October was absolutely, that 5 songs was breathtaking. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was stunning. And I don't know if you know this, I don't know if the people know this, but when Jeff got really sick, a plan started to be put into motion to put together some kind of benefit show, all right? Loosely based on a benefit show idea, getting bands, raising money for Julie, all right? So when this idea was brought up and pitched to Blue October and their management, they immediately committed, immediately said, when do you need us to be there? What do you need us to do? What time do you need us to be there? It was never him and Han, nothing. Yeah. I mean, nothing. Then, on top of that, Tommy, hey, to Justin and his management. Hey, what can we do to take care of your flights here? What can we do to take care of your rooms while you're here? No, we don't want that. We're here to come for Jeff. We'll take care of all of that. Don't worry about anything. Dude, listen.
That's crazy.
They don't have to do that.
No, they don't.
They do. I mean, at the very least, they could have said, oh, man, that's $1,000 worth of plane tickets or whatever the hell that it is. And all of that, they insisted on it. Justin was volunteering to do anything and everything that he could. And so, man, I think that it's very important for us to know when we got bands that are good humans. Mm-hmm. And Justin and that Blue October camp, man, they are wonderful, wonderful humans. And as long as I am the music director here, we're going to play every goddamn song that they release, man. Like,
well, good.
I just, you know, man, like you always kind of wonder a bit behind the curtain about these folks. You know, and especially
you never know.
Yeah, well, especially a guy like Justin that has had his share of major life ups and downs.
Yeah.
But you know, man, I also think that it shows like an incredible side of like redemption as well. You know, the ability of what Justin was able to bring last night was something that if he was all doped up and strung out, he would not have been able to do.
No.
And him telling how much his conversations with Jeff helped him along in those struggles. And dude, I mean, it's so incredible. It's made me a fan of Blue October, who I really wasn't a big fan of before, just because of how great of folks they are, man.
Yeah. It says a lot. It says a lot when you get individuals like that say so many nice things about Jeff, and then certainly put the effort forward to make sure that they're a part of it and it can help out. Everything last night, man. Seeing all those guys, seeing the Urge guys there was awesome. You know, seeing the Cavo guys was great. I haven't seen those guys in ages. The lead singer, I can't remember.
Casey.
Yeah, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
We had met at a Christmas party eons ago. At Clint Lowry, guitarist.
Oh, yeah,
Dust.
absolutely.
And so Clint had a Christmas party, and Clint and I go way back. I've known Clint since I was 19 years old. And so I show up at this Christmas party, and Casey's there, and David Freeze is there, and we had like a little powwow in Clint's basement. And I haven't really seen Casey since that. And we saw each other last night. We're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, man. Know? And I really like that band in the sense that when they started, you know, like they were a pretty meat and potatoes, you could almost call them a knuckle dragon rock band, and they have since kind of sort of evolved into this like just really cool straight ahead rock thing that's not too aggro, not too alt, like it's just right in sort of the pocket. And I love Casey's voice. Yeah, absolutely.
Really good sound.
So it was just a really wonderful time last night, and I know our dude would have been embarrassed probably a little bit, but would have been so unbelievably
He would have been
blown
torn
away.
because the Blues game was on too.
Yeah,
and he would have been torn because he would have been like, "Well, put the Blues game on the TV. We'll listen to music, but I got to watch the hockey game."
We can have both of these things going on simultaneously.
I could see him doing that. Be like, "Excuse me, could you put the game on behind the bar?"
Well, what was one of the things that? Okay, so we were up in one of the boxes, and it was me and Mary and Brooke Chambers, Matthew Chambers from Promotion's wife. All right, and Justin's doing the acoustic thing where it's just quiet, all right? But at the bar, they're like dumping in ice or like doing something that is very loud. And I just thought of Jeff going, for the love of God, can you just wait until the song's over? Or like, you know what I mean?
Can you not wait? For sure.
It just struck me as a moment that he would be like, come on, a little respect for the guy, man.
He'd have been like something like, here, hang on, let me help you with that. Let me get some cymbals and help you.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right, man. It is, and it's just still so different, man. So I think too, man, it's good, and I'm really thankful that I've got, you to kind of talk to about it and work through it or whatever. Because sometimes, man, when we're having bad days, we say we ever having bad days, and it somehow weirdly makes it a little bit better. You know?
Sure does, bro.
So neither one of us got to watch the Blues game last night, and they win.
I watched some parts of it.
All right.
In between Bud Lights and other things last night. Josh Levo got his first goal as a Blue.
That's fantastic.
So that was nice. Get him, pop the cork, so to say, and maybe he'll start to put the puck in the net a little more. 7 goals, man. 7 goals. The Blues are scoring.
Yeah.
Now they're giving up goals, so too. They gave 4 goals again last night. Thomas Greiss, from what I gather, was pretty good. But you can't give up 4 goals a game. You can't do that.
All right. So let's kind of zero in on this defense here lately, because it kind of sort of seems to be this reoccurring sort of issue back there. Jamie, what are you seeing? What is happening? And again, Jamie, I feel like in the last cycle, in the last 3-game losing streak where Chief got absolutely out of his mind, it seems like we're hearing some of the same stuff. Guys got to skate harder. Guys got to commit more. Man, like, okay, dudes, we're 30 games into the year. Why the hell do we still have to be talking about that?
Yeah, I don't know why we're still talking about that. Honestly, you're right.
But am I, you know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. And I agree. From what I see from a defensive standpoint is just not aggressive enough. Like too many guys are able to deflect too many pucks in front of the net, not tying up sticks. It's one thing to talk about, boxing out. Okay, fine. But what does it mean? What good is it if you try to move a guy and he still can get a stick on the puck?
Well, then you're not doing what you think you're doing.
No, in fact, what you're doing is you're causing more of a screen and chaos in front of your own goalie, but you're not taking care of the most dangerous part, which is that guy being able to tip the puck in or play a rebound because you don't tie up his stick. Mm-hmm. And that's what I see is, guys are trying to be physical, but they're not being smart. And, Nico Mikkola, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. But he's always got the cross-check up around the shoulder blades of the opposition, trying to shove them out of the way. Meanwhile, their stick is just hovering around wherever the heck it wants to. And if I'm a guy in the NHL right now, first of all, Nico Mikkola, as big as he is, he's not going to move me. He's not. Like, sorry, you better pack a lunch. It ain't happening. You're not that strong. Mm-hmm. And you can't cross-check guys anymore. You can't just come on and just...
Yeah, it's a penalty.
It's a penalty. You're done. And so I'm just going to take the body contact and still put my stick in a position to get a piece of the puck. So nowadays, the best way to do it is to kind of stay loose as a defenseman. Don't tie up until you see that shot come. And when that shot comes, you scoop the stick and then move the guy all in one shot. Just wham. And now he's gone. Stick is up off the ice, out of the way, and now you're shoving him out of the shot path. That's what you do. That's how you do it. And then you're there, standing there to take care of any rebounds that are lying around. He's not the only one, by the way. I isolate him because I've watched him in the last handful of games kind of doing that. Mm-hmm. But, all of the Blues defensemen are guilty of it at some level.
Is this, and this is very much a statement that you might hammer me for, and that's completely fine.
Oh, wow, here we go.
But is this a particular situation where maybe that we wished that Torrey Krug was a bit more, was bigger and more physical, or...
Well, it's not fair to put it on Torrey Krug.
No.
I know what you're saying. But you also have Nick Leddy, who's not all that big. You have Justin Falk, who's not all that big. So we're going to hang it on. Hang it on them all.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you would like to have some size back there, but I don't think it's imperative. Mm-hmm. Like, what I'm talking about doesn't require you to be, the Missouri Sasquatch out there. It doesn't.
No, I get what you're saying.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it's hockey IQ and doing it at the right time. Donnie, back in my day, no, but back when I played, like, I'm 6'1", 210 pounds, but I'm not a big guy for when I played. Eric Lindros, John LeClaire, Yager, Lemieux. Look at some of the oak trees that were playing in the NHL. Think I could move them every time in front of that?
No way.
Even if I took a baseball swing at the back of their legs, which I did at times, and it was allowed.
Yeah.
Still didn't move them. So you have to outthink them a little bit. You have to make sure that your timing is right, that you're tying up the stick, that you're making it impossible for them to score goals. Or maybe you just have to front the puck and eat it. So when the shot's coming from the blue line, you're behind him, and you just get up, get on your knees, and take it in the guts, and then you kick it back out and go. Like, there has to be some kind of a strategy. It doesn't. You don't have to be a big, strong dude picking up guys and throwing them off the top rope. Yeah, it's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm talking about just being intelligent. And your timing is, quite honestly, it's everything.
Hey, we'll be back with the rest of the Last Minute Blues podcast in just a minute, but want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, and that is Crestwood Dental Group, Dr. James Maxwell. As a matter of fact, myself and the kiddos will be over at Dr. Maxwell's office on Monday because the kids are there for a checkup. I love the fact that my kids don't dread going to the dentist. I love the fact that I know that my dentist is always learning new things, new ways to do things to make the process easier. Dr. Maxwell just knows what's going on. He hires great people as well. So the staff there is out of this world. If your family needs a dentist, you know how important dental health is and oral health is. So find out more by checking out Dr. Maxwell, Crestwood Dental Group at 314-463 5655. That's 314-463-5655. It's Dr. James Maxwell and Crestwood Dental Group, one of the proud sponsors of the Last Minute Blues podcast. So, I don't know. I mean, is this fixable? Is this?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it is. It's very fixable, and you just have to point it out, guys. The video doesn't lie. I mean, it shows you everything you need to know. And so you just take a look at that and work on it in practice. Work on it in games and just get better. There's pockets of times when the Blues are just fine with it. And so that's just one small part of some of the struggles they've had at times this season. I'd like to see them tighten that up a little bit. I'd like to see the front of the net become more difficult for the opposition as far as scoring goals and just kind of, getting loose pucks there. Again, I'm not talking about taking someone's head off. Talking about picking up sticks and getting rid of pucks. Get rid of the dangerous stuff.
Dude, we were talking about this last season. This was absolutely a topic that we had before Nick Leddy got here. And not that Nick has been physical or any of those sorts of things, but obviously the D, kind of gelled more together once he got here. But damn it, that is a super freaking frustrating thing when you kind of see it and I want to ask about a couple of things in the last few games. One, and I do not recall which game it was after. It was the Jordan Binnington, Craig Berube's post-game press conference was legitimately as mad as I feel like I have seen him as the Blues coach. Mm-hmm. It's got to take a lot to get him to that point when he is so visibly angry. And then also, I want to know your thoughts on the Jordan Binnington stuff, the extracurriculars.
All right, well, let's start there first. Listen, he's a competitive, fiery guy, passionate guy. Outbursts like that are okay on occasion. When they're regular, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It loses its luster and, quite honestly, gives the negative attention to the individual in the situation rather than the, hey, he's firing up the guys thing. And I think that's, there's just been too many situations this year. The first one where he gets pulled against the LA Kings and he chirps their bench going by. The next one is where he shoulder checks Sorokin when the Islanders were in town. At the end of the game, he just shoulders their goalie. The third one is the attempted hit on Stahl behind the net. And the fourth one in Pittsburgh was, I don't even care about the glove to the face on Zucker, because that was actually an accident. He's trying to just create a little time and space for Justin Falk there. He's not trying to hit Zucker in the face. He's trying to just get in his way a little bit. So that was an unfortunate event there, but then, chirping the bench and doing that stuff. It becomes a distraction to that player. Your team is one thing. Guys are like, whatever. Guys do get a little bit tired of it. Like, okay, come on, just go. Mm-hmm. Just go, But they have their teammates back at the same time. It's just that when it's too many times in a very short period of time, then it's not having the effect that you would like. But I like Jordan Binnington to have that fire, that passion, that screw you. That's what makes him a great goalie. That's what gives him that edge, is he absolutely hates losing. He hates being...
And you freaking want that.
Yeah, you want that. Now he just has to harness it a little more and not do some of those things. I think he knows that. Craig Berube brought it up. I mean, you don't think Craig Berube's talked to him about it before? Of course he has.
He'd even said that they had to sit down and chatted about it, and Coach Berube was very positive about that interaction as well. The tone had changed significantly in the 24 hours since the post.
Well, it always does.
Yeah.
But look, Chief's a passionate guy, man. And you talk about a guy who wants to win. You don't play as long as he did and certainly occupy the role that he had as a player if you don't have that drive, that hunger, that desire to not lose. And so for him to go through some tough patches this season like they have, he's held it together relatively good. And the other night, I still think that as fired up as he was, he still was thought out. He was calm. It wasn't just flying off the, he was like, okay, all right.
The PK was horse bleep.
Horse bleep? Yep. It was.
It was. And
was he lying?
No, he was not. But it just, I don't know. The cuss word horse bleep is just one of my favorites anyway. So that when he's throwing it out there and he looks as mad like he wants to rip somebody's head off, I don't know, man. It just adds a little bit of awesomeness to me.
Of course it is. And some of that too, you have to understand that he's thinking about that. Chief is also realizing in the moment that he's saying certain things. I'm not saying that he's strategically saying them, but he's well aware of what words he's choosing.
Yeah,
and
no, we've talked about this. It is kind of strategic, though, really, right?
And he's well aware that the players will hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. There's certain things you want your players to hear that you tell the media or the fans or however you want to talk about it. But guys got to know. They didn't play good. Gave up a lot of power play goals. Tighten it up. No more horse bleep.
Man, I gotta tell you, I just still don't know what to make of these guys. Like we talked about it when Anthony was in here a week or two ago, but
tough.
Like
they're all over the place.
I just don't know how good I think they are. I think I know how good they can be.
Well, that's the thing, right? You take their best performance of the season and their worst performance, and you eliminate those, and they're somewhere in the middle.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any better, Jamie.
Right?
Right.
But the good news is like I was talking to the guys yesterday on the fast lane, and when you pull up the NHL standings, specifically in the Central Division, like the Blues sit at 24 points right now. The Avalanche sit at 27. Like,
right?
It doesn't make any sense. And then the Minnesota Wild are at 28 points. So you're still there. Like,
right. I mean,
as bad as you've been at times this season, you're 1 3 or 4 game winning streak away from being back in the playoff discussion.
Well, and also, too, and something that we've talked about before, like, and again, it's a big if, but if this team can get it together, no matter where they're seated in the playoffs, they would not be an easy team or an easy out for your first-round matchup.
No, absolutely not. I mean, who the hell wants to play against Jordan Binnington in the playoffs? For real. Like, he had the bumpy road in the bubble, whatever. I don't even pay attention to that because that was so unique and whatnot. But you look at his playoff performance in 2019, obviously that speaks for itself. And then you look at his playoff performance last year. He was almost unbeatable last year to the point where the Colorado Avalanche were like, oh boy, this could be bad. And if you get that Jordan Binnington again, going into playoffs again this year, you have a chance. You've given yourself a chance. And if everything starts to click the way it should, it's just like you have the horses. But will they all start running in the same direction at the right time?
Right.
Hopefully they do. If they do, then they will be problematic for teams in the playoffs.
Okay, so then let me take the other side of that. So then let's say that this up and down roller coaster, win 3, lose 3, it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
If you're GM Jamie,
and
I know we don't talk about players particularly maybe, but like, what are you doing? Are you trying to spin this off for a minor rebuild? Are you not rebuild? That's the wrong word because you have Kyrou and Thomas and
there's so many guys locked up for so many years. There's no such thing as a rebuild.
No, but maybe retooling. Maybe that might be a better word.
Yeah, but your retooling, quite honestly, would be letting O'Reilly and Tarasenko walk and Barbashev.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting them walk and say, okay, well, that's $15, $18 million that we've got to spend now. That's your retool because everybody else is pretty much locked up under contract or team control.
Yeah. But I want Barbie here and I want O'Reilly here, but I don't think Tarasenko will be back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
but I went over this yesterday because I know a lot of our listeners get frustrated. Well, just trade him. Get this, get that. To who?
Right.
Like, Vladimir Tarasenko has a full no trade clause, which means he can say, no, I don't feel like it, and you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find a team that has cap space, which nobody does, by the way, that is willing to trade for Vladimir Tarasenko, he can still say no. So the art of the trade game, it's all dollars and cents is what it is. And right now, Vladimir Tarasenko will probably get you a 3rd-round pick if you're going that route.
Right.
Is that really what you want?
I'd
rather just let him play it out.
Absolutely, and see
then
what
just
happens.
let him walk. To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're close to the playoffs, because I think this team is going to be right in and around that playoff bubble, and so
there's no reason for them not to be. That's for damn sure.
There's no reason for them not to be. So then, if you're Doug Armstrong, you don't go liquidating at the trade deadline. You hope you ride it out, and you go, okay, here we go.
And hope you catch lightning in a bottle.
My rental players for this year, instead of trading for them, my rental players will be Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko and Ivan Barbashev because they have expiring contracts. I know what they are. They're my rental players. I'm going to treat them just that way.
What have you thought of Barbie in 2022?
Tough so far. I love him as a player. I think unfairly, it was great that he scored 26 goals last year.
Right.
But it's unfair to expect that from him.
And you said that last year while it was happening.
I said he's a 10 to 15 goal scorer. I'd love for him to be a 20 goal scorer,
right,
on a yearly basis. It'd be great. Congratulations to him. I just don't think he's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the market is correcting itself right now, and Barbie's having a hard time finding the back of the net. It's unfortunate because I love the player, I love the individual, but it's not like he doesn't bring things to the table. He still does. He gets out there. He's great on the forecheck. He's tough in front of the net. He's a really good player, but I don't think he's a 25 goal or 26 goal guy.
See, here's where my fanness comes in, and as you're telling me all of these things, and I understand them, but I'm still thinking in my head, but I love Barbie. Mm-hmm. But then the other side of me thinks, but I bet you there's another guy out there, if Barbie walks, that we can get to do that job for probably cheaper. It's not like he brings something to the table that no one else does.
No, those players, there's an abundance of those players. And I'm not saying he's just an everyday.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say it that way either.
I'm not either. But there are a lot of guys that can do that role, play third, fourth line minutes, give you 10 goals a year, and they're not going to cost you 2.6 or 2.8, whatever he's making this year. You can find a guy for $1 million to do that.
Right. I mean, Acciari. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, he just
Acciari. Well, he's on like 25 goal pace now.
Jesus,
it's crazy because that's not real either. He did have 20 goals the one season in Florida, but that's an anomaly. Look at his stats. Some seasons he had 5 goals, 7 goals, then 20 goals. You're like, wait, what happened here? But it's great. He's getting opportunity. He's capitalizing. He's finding the back of the net. If he gets 20 goals, great.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Absolutely.
I'm going to be thrilled for the guy.
So the news hasn't exactly completely broken yet, but it looks as though, onto a change of topic, and I didn't transition.
No, you didn't do a very good job.
But it looks as though, you know what? As of right now, the St. Louis Cardinals have signed all-star catcher Wilson Contreras to a 5-year deal worth $87.5 million.
Wait a minute. $87.5 million?
$87.5 million.
Let's do some math here.
So that's
$17.5 million a year. That's not that bad, actually.
Actually, it's really not. And then you've got your catcher, and then you've got somebody to hit after Goldschmidt, right? Or Arenado, probably in the 5.
Yeah, or before them at second.
Yeah. What do you think of this? This is good.
I think it's a great deal. Yeah, breaking news. Look at that. I think it's great for the Cardinals. I think it's great for Cardinal Nation because the Cardinals aren't usually a team that make free agent splashes.
Yeah.
They're usually via trade, and then when they get the player here, then they re-sign them. Like McGuire, Edmonds, Holiday. Like, go through the list of players. So for them to go out there and just sign a guy for 5 years, the best catcher out there on the market, I'd say that's a pretty darn big deal here in Cardinal Nation.
I like it. It gives me
proud of you, Mo.
Gives
growing
me
up, you
to be a little bit excited because I also found out about an hour ago that Von Miller is out for the entire year for Buffalo. They went to do exploratory surgery yesterday, found out he had a torn ACL, so he is out for the remainder of the 2022 season for Buffalo.
Not great, Donnie. I'm sorry about that.
I love sports and hate sports so much at the same time. For our buddy Jeff Burton, Jamie Rivers, Donnie Fandango, as always, thank you for listening to the Last Minute Blues podcast. Let's go Blues!
The Last Minute Blues podcast. Hear more at 1057thepoint.com. Powered by Together Credit Union, empowering you to achieve your financial goals.